So I'm sorry if for the first time ever you had to deal with an unskippable ad before the video. I always set the ads to skippable, but I wanted to see, for once, if there really is a big difference in the earnings between the two. So this is just an experiment. I don't plan to force you guys through long ads after this. Boy, you know, when I made Sunday's video, even knowing it's what people constantly asked for, I didn't expect it to do well. Whenever I do a video that people ask for, it's usually met with middling success, or even failure. I do them anyways because I know it's what a core group of you want to see, but I have grown accustomed to the request videos doing okay at best. But when you guys said you wanted to see Siege Starscream, you meant it, huh? So for the question of this video, what's the next Siege figure you want to see a review on? Anyways, as always, this is a roast. It's all in good fun. I'm not trying to make any cogent points about these movies. The point is to make jokes. If you try to explain to me how I'm wrong about the things I'm saying, I'm making jokes. You cannot disprove a joke. I'm sorry, it's just that whenever I make a video like this, well, you'd be amazed at the essays I get. Anyways, after this roast, don't expect the next one for at least a month or two. I do these infrequently on purpose so they don't overstay their welcome. And to everyone who tells me, don't you dare ever cover Transformers Animated in one of these roasts, I will eventually roast every last Transformers series, and that includes every show that I love too. There's nothing that is going to be sacred or untouchable in these videos, and they are made in good fun. It's okay to laugh at the expense of the things you like. All that said, if you are not already subscribed, please consider it. And on to slaughtering this diseased hog of a... I don't even want to call this a film, it's too dignified. Before we get into this, people wanted to know why I didn't criticize Megatron's hands in the last roast since one's a claw in Revenge of the Fallen, and I made a big deal about how useless his hands were in the 07 movie. It's because, quite frankly, I don't see having a claw being any kind of downgrade on that garbage he had going on in the first movie. One is just more honest about being useless than the other is. So I have a question. How has this movie not become known as Transformers Beards? Or even better, Transformers Robo-Hair? Why the fuck do most of the new Cybertronian characters have hair? I cannot think of a feature from a human I want less to be on a robot than hair. Who thought of this? What kind of bizarre neckbeard needed there to be hair? It was Michael Bay. It's always Michael Bay. Case in point, Gandalf here. You tell me I'm wrong. I swear they modeled this after Ian McKellen's actual face. Why did they pick that name for this character? The only time it had been prominent before, it was used on a young douche canoe who was borderline entirely blue. It is incredible just how much the movies were intentionally disrespecting the rest of the fandom. Any character in them was going to be the opposite of what they were supposed to. Tell me, douche, were you born with the cape, or did you just choose to look like an asshole? Were you just like, man, how do I make it less subtle that I'm actually evil? Bastard face, big shoulder spikes, Thanos sword, gun that kills people by giving them leprosy? Cape! There we go, that should complete the ensemble. Optimus probably executed you like the psychopath he is for that fashion statement alone. And were you born old too? Cause I don't quite get how a robot in a species that looks nothing like humans wound up with your face. Everyone else would make Star Trek costume designers jealous except for you, because you look just like something they'd already do. Oh hey, look, it's Hatchet, otherwise known as Ravage, but with regret. I bet they won't kill him off this time too. And Laserbeak, who one, just a vulture. There's nothing alien bird about him. He is an Earthbird. And two, can turn into whatever he wants, whenever he wants. No one thought it would be a problem to establish that the characters can change whatever their alt mode is on the fly anytime they want to. God, these people didn't give a shit. Guess they thought they could do the same thing with the love interests. You know, it's honestly really hard to get pictures of the characters I'm critiquing because these rancid piles of shit masquerading as movies were incapable of having anything clearly in frame. Case in point, Roadbuster. This was the best picture of this asshole I could find, and what even is your face supposed to look like, dude? I cannot tell. And it's obvious that you're not supposed to care, because that is some bad CGI used for his face. Literally every other inch of his body looks fine. The Mountain Dew logo made it through unfazed, but your face looks like it was drawn in crayon. We can tell where the priorities were. You'd probably take a missile to the face and be like, is my branding okay? And then we get on to Topspin, who's even less visible in the movie. It's pretty much impossible to get any kind of shot of this abomination. What son of a bitch decided there needed to be a Cybertronian with a mullet? Can't help but notice the next time he showed up, he stole his fat friend's head. If I had a mullet I couldn't remove, I'd chop off someone else's head and use that too. Unfortunately, it only made him look like Leadfoot, so barely an improvement. Speaking of your fat fucking friend, is it weird that they made a Transformer who's morbidly obese with a target on his dick? No, pardon me, on his fupa. Every fiber of my being is rejecting what I'm seeing. Crowbar. Ah yes, the dreads. Yet more hairstyles, and it doesn't even make sense. He turns into a car. There is not a single timing chain in a car half the size as the ones on his head. So this is a character designed to have his most prominent feature be from a different vehicle, when they could have just made him turn into a vehicle that would have had larger chains. But you see, they wouldn't have been able to be sellout hacks if it wasn't a marketable sports car. And somehow his chains are multiplying? Why does this guy have a dozen massive roller chains hanging off of him? A tank wouldn't have all these. If you can turn into anything, why would you turn into something that has giant, useless strands of hair that will only get in the way in a fight? And before you say it's for intimidation factor, design flaws are not intimidating. You gonna try to make me afraid of a Cybertronian who turns into a toaster whose other mode is also a toaster next? And then you got his brother in crime, and wow, I guess we're just ripping off better sci-fi movies now. What's next, Short Circuit? Johnny Five kinda looks like he belongs in this aesthetic, but honestly, he's never going to show up because, let's face it, he's too handsome to be in these fucking movies. And there's no way they put a pacifist in without making fun of them and then killing them off because Michael Bay never stopped being an edgy teen. Man, ripping off the Predator's face opens up so many opportunities for lawsuits from Fox, which for some reason never materialized. Life's not fair. Igor, hey buddy, you get a pass. You're supposed to be ugly, and somehow you are less ugly than most of the other characters in this fucking movie. I hate Dino with every ounce of my heart and every gram of my soul. I hate this fucker. First off, I would like to point out that this proves that Michael Bay is just a fucking liar, and a shitty one at that. Not actually able to come up with a good deception as to why he had to appease his unfathomably tiny dick by covering Optimus in horribly insecure flame decals. Get this, Michael Bay tried to pull this one straight out of his ass. Optimus was covered in douchey flames because red doesn't film well. Well, tell that to every movie that's ever had a red sports car in it, including this movie. Michael Bay has successfully disproven his own lie, which was so bad it falls apart the second you've ever seen a different fucking movie before in your life. Honestly, if it weren't for the fact that Dino is proof that the people making the movie were such whores that they would force themselves on an unwilling sponsor just to get that dollar bill, and if the stink of his name weren't clinging to Mirage like a bad fart Sam had after too much boiled cabbage and just being plain Sam Witwicky, then I could find myself appreciating Dino for what he represents as Michael Bay's total self-own. Get this was supposed to be Mirage until they changed literally everything about him to appease Ferrari, including changing his name to Dino, the same as the name of the founder of Ferrari's son. That is so pathetically desperate, and Ferrari still pulled license and won't let them make a toy. That's how big a whore Bay is, people. He fought tooth and nail while compromising on everything to give a character an alt mode they never had before that they could only use in the movie and never again. It's not like he even fought to get a manufacturer of the correct nationality. Mirage was originally a French car. I'm not even roasting Dino at this point. I'm ranting about the backstory of his creation because it's that offensive to me. Let's fix that, shall we? You and your stupid shoulder squiggles, I'm already irrationally angry, but you and that horrible collarbone that you have drive me through the roof. I don't even know why I hate this part so much. I just feel like it would get caught on everything. But great choice in weapon, dumbass. Blades that are neither convenient to you nor grant you reach. Blades that you either have to turn your back to your enemy to use, or give them a good judo chop with your forearm because they don't extend past your hand. How did you invent a weapon that shortens your effective reach in combat? You make Darwin spin in his grave. Your continued survival is a joke God plays on the world. In a fair and unbiased universe, the first day you grafted those blades onto your arms, you would have gored yourself with them as that's the only thing they're good for. And you would have either learned your lesson that it was a bad idea, or hopefully died so the world is no longer burdened with you. Now, is that movie Jazz I see? Oh no, that's movie Soundwave. Yeah, okay. Let me just steel myself for this one. Why does he look like he has giant mushrooms growing out of his forearms? Did Soundwave need to look like he contracted a horrible disease? I See Crankcase was not the only one ripping off the Predator's face. Soundwave famously doesn't have a face. He's blue and he's got no face. It's his whole thing. And instead they decided they wanted to make him look like a chrome Sangheili. Were they just too good for a lack of faces? Even Shockwave got something approaching a face with his weird crustacean mouth and rounded, naturally shaped head. What did these movies have against vibrant colors? Shockwave looks like a pile of bones. He looks more like a generic Dark Souls enemy than he does Shockwave. He looks undead. Oh hey, look at that. He's got the same stupid arm blade that Dino has, but he's got it turned around the other way so he can actually use it to shank any other bitch than himself. I guess Shockwave is supposed to be the smart one, though it is clear that in this instance, he's the smart idiot in a group of morons because that weapon is still more of a threat to himself than his opponents. Also, what is with the forward-pointing horns? Had the designers ever seen Shockwave before? Did they just hear that he had horns and the only thing they could think of is bull? Is Shockwave going to need to lock horns with another steer to impress a mate? And then you've got Q, and dear fucking god, why? Oh my god, he's horrifying. Was Michael Bay like, oh, you think my designs are ugly? Here, let me show you ugly. Oh god, his face looks like it's made out of chicken nuggets. What is with his teeth? He looks like he's a rotting corpse. Shockwave may have been a Dark Souls enemy, but this guy's a fucking Bloodborne enemy. No wonder Shockwave executed him. Not only did he look like he had a disease that was going to make everyone's skin fall off, he's from a competing publisher. Thou shalt not suffer a corporate competitor to live. Why would they do this? Who wanted to put the most sinfully ugly character in the history of film into this movie? Was this just to abuse the audience? This guy be making the Elephant Man look like a snack. Oh, I think it's confirmed. Michael Bay, huge fan of Beast Machines. Why? He exists solely to hurt our eyes and haunt our nightmares. How did they make a Cybertronian who's balding? Was the goal of this movie to give every robot the ugliest hairstyle they could think of? Where's the Cybertronian with a comb over then? Why did these movies have to look like this? I'm not mad that they're different, I'm mad that they're skin-rippingly ugly. I swear it was constant, utter disrespect from the filmmakers. They were trying to punish us for watching these movies by making the characters torturously hideous. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. Why? And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.